right now. I have challenged the mayor on this in 2006 at the same time when the pizza place was being approved down at the end of the street that you saw. I was talking to the mayor about developing a women's health care center and doing parking here across the street from Family Health Care to remedy the situation that they had intentionally created. He not only ignored me, when I did talk to him, he turned red in the face and yelled at me and said he'd never sell another foot of property to Family Health Care. Now, Terry Williams has been here for 30 years, and he operates Spencer a lot like Fidel Castro operates Cuba. He's got a token government, and he is the end-all be-all. He has set himself up as the sole authority for economic development in Spencer, and you can see the result of it with a 10-year-old empty blue building that the city, I think, still owes $750,000 on. And this expanse here, which would be adequate for us to park on the first 60 feet of it. I proposed that to the mayor. I hand-delivered a letter to the mayor by one of my staff members on March the 17th. It is now May the 5th, and he has totally ignored us. He has ignored our board, he has ignored me, and he has made it very clear that he will not talk to me about it. Now, I spent 8 years as an artillery officer in the United States Army. I did that because I felt that I owed it to this country to preserve and protect our democratic way of life. And Terry Williams, the mayor here in Spencer, makes a mockery out of the democratic process, and he's aided and abetted by Tom Whittier, the city attorney, who is now the vice president of our board. I've suggested to Tom several times that he is in a continuing conflict situation. However, he also ignores me, and so far he is still the vice president of the board and has done everything he can to manipulate our board so that I will not go public with my knowledge and my background and my study of the way that family health care was developed as a political agenda, and also the way family health care lost critical parking right now. And the problem with all this is that when the blue building, if it ever is occupied, we will lose patient parking in the front of this building. Patients will have no place to park. And when patients have no place to park and we cannot generate sufficient revenue with which to pay the USDA the rest of their $1 million mortgage that they have on this building, and we can't pay the local banks $222,000 on their mortgage on this building, and we can't pay the Center for Rural Health Development with a $100,000 note for our electronic medical records, then we will default on those notes because we can't sustain ourselves without patient flow. We do 36,000 patient visits a year. It takes 140 patients a day through here to sustain ourselves. The mayor is blocking that. He refuses to deal with me. He refuses to correct what he, in fact, and his associates have created in 1999 when Walmart came to town, and even in 1996 when this building was purchased. And he is standing directly in front of us and blocking our path to working with President Obama for national health care reform. We're a big player in this community. We put over $2.5 million in payroll here in a county that's second highest in unemployment and chronic poverty. And of course, the mayor, less than a year ago, gave himself a 20% increase in his pay. He's a full-time mayor in a very small municipality, very well paid, and gave himself a 20% pay raise at a time when unemployment here in Roane County was over 12%. So that gives you a little clue about the mentality that we're dealing with here. This, as Hugo Chavez says, this has the smell of sulfur. Sometimes things are wrong, and they're just wrong, and this is wrong. The way that family health care has been treated over the years by Mayor Williams and the city attorney and the city Spencer Economic Development Authority is just flat wrong. And we are a very important member of this community. We take care, as a federally qualified health center, we take care of 17% of our 7,500 patients are on sliding fee, 200% are below federal poverty level, and the rest are uninsured. We have about 14 or 15% that are 60 or over. And I'll stand out of the way so that you can see the steps on this building. Nobody in their right mind would ever develop this building as a high-volume medical practice. Look at the steps leading up there. This is a county with 20% of the people actually 60 or over. People have a lot of trouble getting up those steps. Why would anybody reconstruct an old building like this and leave steps at the front? Mystery to me. It's also a mystery to me why the USDA would actually fund it to $1.5 million, leaving steps up the front. We do have a rear entrance we call a handicapped entrance. That's not a very good term for it anymore, but we have within the last couple of weeks replaced a door that swung out into a traffic lane with a sliding door. This is a horrible building. It was a bad idea, it was bad plan, and it was badly executed, and it shows you what happens when a board of directors is actually focused on a political agenda and not focused on health care as they are here to do. We create barrier-free access to professional medical care without regard to financial qualifications, and our building itself is the barrier to our mission statement. So I'll reposition the camera. I'm Larry Dent, CEO here at Roane County Family Healthcare. I'm standing in the middle of the roadway here, and I'm going to swing the camera around. This roadway was straight, but when Walmart came to town, it needed a piece of Family Healthcare's property, and you can see now, you can see the dogleg that was created as Family Healthcare deeded away a piece of its north parking area. They didn't have any parking area to start with, much, and then when they lost that, they lost critical parking. And what we have here on the west side of the property is a ravine. I mean, this, you can see the fence, and that drops off about 100 feet down to the creek. So there's nothing, there's nowhere to go. We have no parking, and when we lose this parking, which is illegal on the right-of-way here, then we will undoubtedly close or default on all of our notes and actually not be able to provide health care for 7,500 patients that we take care of right now. It's a pretty sad situation when you have a mayor like Terry Williams who actually is so adamantly opposed to family health care, and I understand why he's mad at me, because if there was a political agenda for him to take over this building when it went broke, I actually kind of thwarted his plans, because when I came over here in 2003 in December, it could not make the next payroll. But after that, it was a quick fix, because strangely enough, I found $250,000 quickly that Medicare actually owed family health care. And whether that was by design, that it wasn't paid or what, I did get a crisis grant for the payroll and made the payroll and actually got it fixed pretty quickly. But what we're facing now is the political agenda, and everybody now is very, very concerned that I'm going to expose the mayor. The property line in this parking lot actually is well inside. You can see where the pavement comes, and the property line actually is inside the pavement. We'll walk out there in a minute. This was the original property line that went about a foot in front of the building. When this building was purchased, patients could not walk from the building to the sidewalk without walking over city property. There was a 20-foot strip that the city had withheld from the deed. Now, if you walked up here, you would think that at least family health care would own its own lawn, but it didn't. It did not own its lawn. 20 feet was actually taken out of the deed. Now I'm going to swing the camera around and stand on the other survey mark. And this is the survey mark after Walmart. This is, so what family health care got in the deal after it gave up critical parking for Walmart was the difference between the old property line, which ran almost in front of the building, and this, which runs down the middle of the sidewalk. So that's what the Spencer Economic Development Authority pawned off on family health care to actually say that that was going to be an equal exchange to replace the parking that they had lost. What a joke. Bad joke at that. This is what family health care gave away to the Spencer Economic Development Authority, and the Spencer Economic Development Authority gave back the family health care 20 feet of grass in their front yard.